how do you still have a button? It's crazy,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And it's
Insane.
weird too, like every time you upgrade, how quickly you get used to the new settings without
Yeah.
even realizing it. So
Yeah.
they've
Yeah.
they figured something out there.
Just got us all wrapped in.
Yep,
Just wrapped up,
exactly.
man.
Exactly. Well,
Okay,
so
yeah.
yeah. Jinx.
We're
Let's
on it. We're on it tonight.
let's talk
I
about
swear I wear the
boundaries.
same shirt every single live. Anyways, it's
Oh,
fine.
really?
No.
I didn't even notice. So it just blends in
It's
with like the car, so it's
right. And I'm just black. I'm just a floating head, basically. It's fine. No big deal.
fine.
Oh, okay. So what are we discussing today? Boundaries.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about
Okay.
boundaries. I feel like a lot of your content is around boundaries. I think it's such a good topic, especially for women. Like the whole, oh, I just need to be a bigger bitch, you know? And I don't know. I think first I just wanted to kind of get what's your mindset around boundaries and what does that really mean?
Gosh. Um, I didn't know what a boundary was. I was a people pleaser my entire life. Anything that you need, I'm gonna figure out how to do it. That's literally my life still. But whenever and again, I know that I bring it up a lot, but whenever I moved in or whenever I moved to Brazil, that distance made me set a boundary. It made me realize who actually cared. It made me, you see a lot of those you see a lot of videos and reels of people saying, I stopped being the first one to like engage, right? And then you slowly start to see that nobody is coming to you, right?
Mhm.
Like first at all. So you're like, okay. But then I always give the benefit of the doubt. I always think that there's hope in people. People change.
Or maybe they just have
We
something
all
going
go through
on.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have something going on, stuff like that or whatever. And then it was just years of even in work, this was my big one too. Like I'll kill myself for a job. Like I will do everything plus then plus more and whatever else you need. Like I will eat, sleep, and drink that job. I forget about myself. And I just started noticing that the managers, and this is retail, this is, I opened up a gym that like I wasn't really involved in and stuff like that. And I was working really hard, always there, blah blah blah, and I was just the punching bag. I was always the punching bag, and I'm like, bro, like I'm the one stepping up. I'm the one always trying to do better. Why am I always getting hit, you know?
Hmm.
And then it was one night we were I worked at Victoria's Secret, and we were setting up for like a new launch or whatever. And we were all there, we were all cranky, all tired, whatever, it didn't matter. We were just getting it done. Then the manager came over and accused me of doing something, and it was just the last straw basically. And
Hmm.
I was like, you know what, I don't need this, I don't need you, I don't, I'm gonna just do it myself basically. And that was the scariest thing in the world, but I just walked out. I was like, I'm worth so much more than this. I don't deserve to get talked down to. And then it was more of to like, they would be grooming me. They would say that they want me as a manager, they're grooming me for
Hmm.
management and stuff like that, blah blah
Hmm.
blah. But then all of a sudden they'll hire somebody else, and it was like,
Hmm.
okay, like, and I just kept taking that, and I'm like, I'm still killing myself for this company for what? Like, and then I started just realizing just little and little, like, how little they actually cared.
Hmm.
And then it started just seeping into other things. So then well, and then COVID, happened or whatever. But boundaries, I mean, it's just learning the respect that you deserve. And that's really hard whenever you feel like you're a person that doesn't deserve anything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Hmm.
Like it's like I don't feel like I deserve your attention over somebody else. Like somebody else can definitely have the spotlight. Like I don't care about that. Like I will take a back seat. Like I'm cool with that. It's just weird, like, I think people push that boundary. If they feel like they can keep pushing it, keep pushing it, I don't think that they stop or really maybe even have their own sense of boundaries to where they don't know
True.
where to stop. And
Mm-hmm.
so a big thing that I had to learn was how to step away, and I never knew how. If you were to text me or call me on my phone, I'm answering. I'm being there. I'm going to try to figure out something that I can do to help you. But again, whenever I moved to Brazil, I had a $5,000 or a 5,000 mile distance
Mm-hmm.
completely. There was no getting to me. I had to say no because I couldn't be there for your birthday. I couldn't be there for your
Mm-hmm.
wedding or whatever. I had to say no to a lot of people. And honestly, saying no made me so much better. I mean, it sounds so weird and I don't like saying no, but at the same time, creating those boundaries made me not so anxious and freaking
Mm-hmm.
out and making myself do it in like a very high energy. I've learned that with boundaries and with alignment, if somebody's asking you to do something, well, if it doesn't work out in my schedule and I can't get to it, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to feel calm whenever you take it on. Oh, yeah, I can do that on my way to work. I can do that, blah, blah, blah. If it starts rushing me and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have 5 minutes to do this, I got 2 minutes to do that. And I'm internally spinning, that means I
Mm-hmm.
should have said no. It means
Right.
those kind of things. And it took me a while to really realize what I was doing to myself whenever I would say yes to people and it would still spin me out of control.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just trying to help somebody. I'm just trying to do, but I wasn't realizing what I was doing to myself. I was
Sure.
making myself spin.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, Brazil definitely made me have a boundary, made me start saying no. My husband is also a big person involved with this too. He made me realize like how much I do give to people, how much I am very outwardly, I'm there to support, to help, whatever you need, a click, a like, whatever. I don't care, I'm that's Instagram, but like in real
Right.
life, like my dad literally just called me 5 minutes ago and I'm like, yeah, I'm on my way. Like, no big deal. I'll go over there. I'll help you with your phone. It could have waited for tomorrow, but
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. It felt calm doing it. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, I have this live and I can't do this, blah, blah, blah. Like if it started to make me spiral, I would have
Mm-hmm.
been like, Dad, I have a live, I've got something that I got to do, and then I'd go from there. But it's just now, it's just different. I changed a little bit, but it was hard. It still is hard.
Yeah. But it sounds like you kind of like do your own like temperature check, like with the spinning. Like now you know like what the signs are of when you should not commit to something. And so you can kind of like check in with yourself and see how you're feeling. So I think that's good. I don't think a lot of people know what that maybe is supposed to feel like, because I talk to so
Yeah.
many women and they're just like, yeah, I'm just anxious all the time. And I'm just like, and a lot of times when I hear all the things that they have to do, I'm like, who said you have to do that? We
Mm-hmm.
put so many things on ourselves that we feel like we have to do and just like stress ourselves out. And we've kind of talked about this before, just about like how I used to be so like wanting to have control of everything.
Yeah.
And now there's not a whole lot that stresses me out anymore.
Yeah.
And it's weird when I'm talking to a friend that's still in that place, because in one way, like, I understand and like want to show empathy. And then on the other hand, I'm like, you're doing that to yourself, because now I know what it's
Mm-hmm.
like on the other side of that.
Yeah. And it's hard. It's really hard when people are like, because my colleague, she works with me and she is a boss, man, but she has two kids and a bonus kid. Her mom lives with her. She owns her own company, but she freelances. So she's here for a couple hours, does her job, goes somewhere else, blah blah blah. And there's sometimes where she's just frantic all the time, like da 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 da, and we both have ADHD. She's medicated. She's medicated, I'm not.
Okay.
And I can tell when she's in the spiral. She doesn't show it very well because she's good at living in it type thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it kills me because I'm just like, you are hurting yourself so much more than you actually realize. Your nervous system is what's going to keep you younger and youthful, and like stressing yourself out literally makes you age it makes you age inside, internally so
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
And I didn't really realize that I was doing that to myself either. That I was it was one thing that I would be, workaholic. I wouldn't eat correctly at all. I was the skinny, the bad skinny, like the just unhealthy, weak, skinny, never went to the gym ever type thing, but I just never ate. So I was just tiny. And it just, there's that, but then there's also your inside, what you're doing to your mental, what you're doing to your just regulation, everything. Like, I don't think I could actually breathe for a really long time until my husband was like, you gotta change. You know what I mean? He didn't say I had to change, but he showed me what it felt like to say no, because my husband says no like all the time. And man, it's so hard for me sometimes, but it's such a good thing to learn at the it's
Yeah. Well, and like you
yeah.
mentioned, like, so yeah, your nervous system, your mental health, like that affects your gut health. And then your gut health affects how you actually even absorb nutrients. So, like
Very
you're saying with the
true.
nutrition, like it really is so intertwined. And so, yeah, I think learning how to regulate yourself, learning how to say no, like that has to be brought into the conversation of health. And
Hmm.
like your husband, like my husband's pretty good about just being like, if you don't want to do something, it's like, nah, I'm good. You know, like I'm like, all right. But I've really learned that too, like with my family in the last couple of years, because it was always this expectation of like Christmas or Thanksgiving, we have to be at one or the other. And my birthday is 5 days after Christmas. My son's birthday is at the beginning of the month. My husband's birthday is 5 days after mine. You've got New Year's in the middle of all of that. And I just was like, some holiday, like end of the year, like I just don't want to feel that pressure of like traveling, one, and two, just, like being around family, which often like just elevates your stress level in general, right? For
Hmm.
most people. And so I was like, you know what, guys, every third year we're not coming for Thanksgiving or Christmas. Like we're just not. We're staying home, or taking little day trips. We're doing whatever we
Hmm.
want to do. And my family respected it, but then I think they expected me to come like a few days after Christmas or something, and I was like, no, like I'll see
Right.
you maybe mid-January. And they were like, what?
Hmm.
They called me, they were like, what's going on? And I was like, nothing's going on. I just need this time for myself at least
Yeah.
every couple of years. And they were like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And especially because so many years of, like raising my kid, of course, it was all about him. It was all about family. It was, go, go, go. And I'm like, you know what? I deserve this. And at this point in my life, I feel like. And so that was really hard, but we stayed home this year and it was great. And it was like, it's funny how something like that, even though it's going to be every 3 years, it's like the refresher you need to
Yeah.
just be like, okay.
Yeah. No, that you bring it up. I remember being so conflicted, I guess is the proper word for it. Being so conflicted whenever I lived in Brazil and it was my first Christmas away from
Mm,
home.
mhm,
I have never missed a Christmas. If anybody
mhm.
ever missed a Christmas, it's because they were deathly ill. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's a tradition. And it would freak me out all the time. Oh, I need to be there 5 minutes early. I need to do this. I need to do that. Oh, I need to bake this, whatever. I remember like 10, 11 years ago, like a while ago. And I remember freaking out because I didn't, time management wise, with the sweet potato casserole or whatever.
Yeah.
And I freaked out on my boyfriend at the time because I was like, you're making this way too like calm and cool and collected, and I'm freaking
You're
out.
like,
I'm
this is a big
spiraling.
deal.
I'm going insane because I can't, and literally 5 minutes away, like not even 5 minutes away, literally like 3 minutes away down the street, we would have been there. It's fine to be late.
Yeah.
It's family. Like all these things that I'm now now have learned, but back then I was freaking out that I would be, oh, there's Sybil again, not showing up on time. Oh, there's Sybil
Mhm.
again, being flighty. Oh, there's Sybil again. And I'm like, I don't want to be, I'm not that person. Like, I've never been that person, but that's the labels that they've put on me. And
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, man, it's one day. Like, if I'm 5 minutes late, it's not the end of the world. Like, we've got all night. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, so when I was in Brazil and I actually had to stay home and I did not go to Christmas, I did not go to Thanksgiving, I did not go anywhere, it was not the end of the world.
Right.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Everything was okay.
Yeah. I've learned
It
that
was
too.
fine.
Like, tell me if you're like this kind of like as a millennial, it's like if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late.
Oh yeah. Are
Yeah.
you kidding me? Both my parents are entrepreneurs. If you're
Yeah.
not there an hour early, you're a loser, you're terrible, and everybody, you suck. Like,
Right.
everybody is better than you. Like, that's literally how I was not raised. My parents never said that to me, but it was more of just like my father still is very anxious, needs to be there 15 minutes prior, like
Mm-hmm.
those kind of things. And it's like, it's fine. Like, I'll be okay. I'm gonna be there,
Yeah.
and
I
I've
know. I always
started.
think like I always am like, oh, I'm gonna be late, and then I end up being there right on time, and like I shouldn't have even called, you know.
Yeah, I
And
shouldn't have
I
said
finally
anything.
let that go too because it's
Yeah.
like in some situations, sure, is it good to get there a little bit early? But
Yes.
for most things, like I know my nail girl is gonna be doing the nail person before me up until our appointment. I do not need to be there 15 minutes early, and yeah, that's just been such a game changer for me. I don't know. I feel like is this boundary related? Kind of.
Yeah, I know. I
But
was like, we might have gone off on another thing
it's
though,
okay. It's
but
okay. But I think it's around the whole point of like
nervous system.
yeah, nervous system exactly. And like why are we putting and in a lot of situations, so what if you are 2 minutes late? The person is not gonna like hang you for it. They're gonna be like,
Right.
okay, life happens, you know? So
Well, and that's what I thought about with like traffic. I wouldn't tailgate, but I would drive fast. I would be the one weaving in and out of traffic, and then you would get that road. Not, I would never get road rage. I'm never going to be mad at somebody else. Like, that's just
yeah.
not, but you would get that, like, oh, I got to be there. I have to, not even racing the clock. It was, oh my gosh, I'm going to be late. I probably have an hour to get there, to get somewhere 30 minutes away, but I'm freaking out. My time management in my brain, it doesn't, I don't know, but it would make me so anxious
Hmm.
to where I was like, man, people are going to get in a wreck if they act this way, if they continue to act this way. I was like, you need to chill. Cause like, even if I were speeding, and this has happened to me, this happened to me a second time, and after the second time I was like, there's no more. I was speeding in and out of traffic, blah blah blah, whatever. I go to a stop sign. The same person that I passed a while back is at the same
Yeah.
stop sign.
You're
Why
like, I
did I
did so
just
many
do that?
times.
I just made my nervous system freak out frantically for no reason, put other people in danger because of my stupid ass driving. What's the point? What's
Hmm.
the freaking point, So that's when I started stopping, slowing down. Like, I don't, bro, I've gone 50 on the highway before now, to where I'm just like, whatever, I'm cruising. Like, I don't care. Like, you know what I mean?
And
Like,
I'm behind you honking.
yeah, I know. I'm like, I got time, whatever,
Yeah.
So it just like
It's chill.
now it's just different. I found the peace that I've been missing, that I desperately needed in my not in my life, because I mean, I created peace, peace is here and blah blah blah, but just those moments of realization, like checking in on yourself and going, wait a minute, why are you not at peace right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
After a few speeding tickets I stopped doing, yeah,
No,
and it's not worth
not worth
it. It's
it.
not worth it. It's not worth the money, for one,
Hmm.
no, but it's not worth even like putting yourself in danger,
Yeah.
yeah, so.
Yeah, I think well, I lost my train of thought there. Didn't matter.
As we all know, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think just in general, like you're saying, the nervous system thing. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Like, you have to find ways to check in with yourself. Like, why is this
Yeah.
or like why is this a big deal to me? Like, is this a big deal because I've taught this thing, being 15 minutes early is a rule. Is that a
Mm-hmm.
rule? Does that apply in this situation? Is it worth it? Like, whatever, like having those moments to check in with yourself, like, or, this has to be done this way. Like, I have to make the sweet potato casserole for Christmas and I have to be there, at this time. It's like, but who said like, yeah, that's the way we've always done it, but like, why does that mean that that's like the rule? So I think checking in with yourself on those things can make a big difference. And then kind of back to like the boundaries thing. I wanted to talk about that because I think as a woman, like I said, we can kind of put it on ourselves that if we are saying no to people
Mm-hmm.
or if we're standing up for ourselves, then we're being a bitch, right? And it's like the opposite. What is the quote? It's like the opposite of selflessness is not actually being selfish. Like
Mm-hmm.
there is like this middle area, and or like just because you're not being completely selfless doesn't mean you're being selfish. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
do you get what
No,
I'm
it
going
makes
with this?
sense. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, because you can't just do everything and be everything for everyone else, and that doesn't make you selfish, and again, like we've talked about before, if you're not showing up for yourself, then that almost is selfish in its own way, because then you're not showing up your best self for people.
Mm-hmm.
You're irritated. You don't, like they say, you don't fill your own cup or whatever, then it's
Yeah.
like you're not showing up your best self. And not even that other people deserve that, but like you deserve that. You deserve
Yeah.
to go through your life as your best self, because you deserve to be happy. And I think just as a result, that's going to help make other people happy. And then too, there's so many situations where
Yes.
people know you're not, like your husband pointing it out, like you've got to calm down, like he's not happy that you're killing yourself, even if it's like to benefit him. He's going
Right.
to notice that and be like, no, we got to find
Chill. Like,
find some middle
let me
ground.
grab this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if
Yeah.
those people truly care about you, like they're gonna
They're
acknowledge
gonna
that
see
and
it.
want that for
Yeah.
you too. So I think that's the thing. If people expect so much out of you all the time, it's like, one, they may not realize it because they may have been treated that same way their whole life.
Mm-hmm.
But like, do they care about you and your well-being? Because the answer might be no.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like a job or whatever. Obviously kids have immediate needs that we can't always
Different.
like
Yeah.
but I
That's a
also
different
see
story.
moms that do like kill themselves for their kids immediate needs that or non-immediate needs, and it's like that's such a balancing act. And I'm not judging, but I do like worry about those parents that never
Yeah.
like set those boundaries with their kids, right? Because then you are modeling that for your kid, and then the cycle continues, right? Because that's
Yep.
kind of how we learned it, right, from our parents.
Mm-hmm.
Really like kind of placing it as everyone else's more important, which then in turn ends up, especially if it's other people, then makes your kid feel like they're less important. So again, it's a hard balance, but I think just like having the conversation is important. And I think that again, like just because we say no doesn't make us a bitch. And most of the people in our
Yeah.
life are going to understand that. And if they get offended or whatever, then maybe they're not, your true friend. And then
Right.
you move on and continue to do what's best for you.
Yeah.
So,
No. Because if my thing is like, especially with raising our son, after realizing like the typical mom wife situation to where our mental load is heavy, we're
mhm.
thinking about the kids and what needs to happen in the household and groceries and da 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 5,000 million things, right? And how the husband doesn't see it, right? Or something like that or whatever. It took a while for my husband to understand that.
Mm,
Granted, we've this is our like we have never been this far in a relationship before with anybody else. You know what I mean? So like
Yes.
finding these things is really difficult, but if it's worth it and it's willing to work it out, you know, you do that. But now after figuring that out with me and him and dynamic of household wise, which is crazy, like I still feel like I'm a 2-year old, but raising our son now, I want him to know that mama is important.
Yes.
Mama comes first. Like,
Hmm.
not all the time, naturally. Like,
Right.
he's a baby, he's two and a
Right.
half. So, like, of course, he comes first a lot of the time, you know.
Yeah.
But there's no hitting me. You can hit
Mhm.
dad, you can play with dad and blah, blah, blah. But if you hit me, there's no, like, you know. And I feel like that will continue into whenever he has a wife, or oh, like him whenever he takes off his clothes, he's really good about putting it in the dirty laundry. Now
Mhm.
I know my son will put his clothes in the dirty laundry and he knows what's right and wrong, you know what I mean?
Right.
Those little things that you make, they're tiny little stupid things that as a mom I could pick up after him and be like, oh,
Right.
I'm just his mom, I'm taking care of him, I'm picking up after him. No, those are his toys, those are his clothes, and he needs to learn. He might be early, it might be early for him, give or take, whatever. But my thing is I feel like our son is very advanced for 2.5. I mean,
Mhm.
he just has been advanced since the get-go. And I'm not, to every kid is differently, I'm not saying anything better about my kid opposed to anybody else, but
Yeah.
he was walking at like 10 months. Like, he was
Okay.
doing stuff more than an average, like any age restricted or whatever. We would always
Mhm.
push him up, push him up, push him up. So he's just doing stuff, and he's very, like, we talk to him about everything. He understands so much, it's crazy. So
Mhm.
I'm like, you can have responsibilities,
Sure.
that's not
Yeah,
a
that's
bad
a
thing.
very age appropriate responsibility,
Yeah,
putting your own clothes
right.
in the hamper.
Put your own
Yeah.
clothes away, put your toys away. He understands how to do it. He goes to daycare, he does it there too. He needs to do it here in our house.
Yeah.
And those are things that even though he's 2.5, he's going to have his entire life.
Sure.
Keep your environment clean. Think about mama, think about the wife, think about that person, what you can do to help her. Because
Mhm.
that's what Joao does. Hey, mama, do you need anything before we go? Whatever. And I'm like, no. Or I'll be like, go take out the trash, and I'll
Yeah.
just, pinpoint, blah, blah, blah. And then William's right there next to him doing it. So
Mhm.
he's used to having a woman tell him what to do
Mhm.
and doing it right away at the same time, too. Because, like, a thing that definitely is hard for me to do on a day to day. I'm in construction. I have to get big blue collar guys to go, yeah, she knows what she's talking about. I'll
Right.
trust her.
Oh,
It's hard. I
yeah.
thankfully I know a lot of our subcontractors that we've worked with for forever, but there are the off stance of, like, I had 2 installers, and they were like, well, this might take me 4 days. And I'm looking at them like, it should only take you 3. Like,
Mhm.
and how do you say that without coming across as a bitch? Or how do you say that across, like, because I've never hung up these panels before. I don't know how
Right.
long it would take. But at the same time, I'm doing some math and I'm like, okay, to hang this, and it shouldn't
Yeah.
take that. So it's hard to put your foot down even whenever you are in those situations, because you want to be the nice one, you want to be the girl. And then I also know what I guess I don't know because I'm not the other person, but I put myself in other people's shoes a lot of the time. Like, what are they thinking whenever they walk into this job and they see a girl
Mhm.
sitting there and she's going to be like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. The
Right.
guy's going to be like, you idiot. You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
there's no, like, I'm all metal panel. No. They were installing acoustical sound panels. We have a big warehouse that we just finished up, and the echoing was insane. So we got this really cool stuff. The reality of being a girl, and often we're taken advantage of. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, that's a big thing that throughout life, I've always been just like the bubbly, oh, hi, how's it going? Da da da.
Mhm.
Almost kind of like an airhead. Not an air. I don't want to be an airhead. That's never,
But
like, I'm
people
smart.
assume
I
that
will
when you're
show
like
you.
bubbly and yeah.
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 And then all of a sudden, when I come out with something that I'm like, no, I know what I'm talking about. I've done this I've been on a job site since I was like 3 years old. I know what I'm doing.
Yes.
I can strap on something and do it with you. Like, I'm not afraid to do that. And
Right.
once they see that, that's the thing is whenever I'm on the job site, like,
Sorry.
it's hard.
You
No,
said
you're
I
fine.
could strap on something in my brain. I mean, that's what they want. That's what they think you need.
Oh my God, I wasn't even thinking about that at
Sorry.
all. I meant strap on a tool belt.
I knew what you meant.
No, but like a lot of times whenever I get on the job site, they'll be like, because I'm my father's daughter, so they'll be like, "Oh, Sybil, how are you? How's things going?" And they'll chat me up, chat, chat, chat. But then when it comes down to work, I'm like, "Okay, can you get to work now? Like, I'm your supervisor at this moment, at this point, and
Yeah.
you don't know that because I'm just chit chatting it up with you, and that's
Right.
fine. But there's a time and a place, and I'm like, okay, but can you go put that door in? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just
Mhm.
random little weird things. And then once they see me out on the job site, one, multiple times, but two, when I'm there cleaning up with them and I'm actually
Mhm.
doing the work with them, that's when I
Mhm.
start gaining the respect. But when I have new subs that come in out of nowhere
Yeah.
and they don't know me, they don't know what I do, they haven't seen me on a job site before, it's really difficult. And they'll just start talking to me like, "Oh, you're just the interior designer or whatever." I'm like, "No, that's not who I am. Like,
Yeah.
I can do that. That's one of my hats that I can wear,
Mhm.
but that's not."
Well, like Kristen said, there's a sales guy that like been asked to talk to the man of the house. Yeah, I would lose it too because I'd be like, I like I make decisions for this household. Like, and when
All
I
of the
was,
decisions.
yeah, when I was like in my 20s in banking, I became what was I called? I like handled loans. Like I worked under a loan officer, but I handled
Oh, okay.
loans. And so people, yeah, they would like treat me like I didn't know, well, when so and so going to be here, you know? Because I was like the younger new girl, or well, I need to
Hmm.
ask him about that. And I'd be like, you can
Yeah.
ask me. I have the answer. And I
Hmm.
still get that all the time at the gym too. And I don't know if it's
Dumb little
like,
segue. Sorry.
I don't know if it's like just because they're so used to like, well, he's the owner, but like I'm literally sitting at the computer where like they put in their billing information and they'll be like, oh, I guess I'll have to come back tomorrow when Joe's here to put in my billing. And I'm like, why do you think I'm sitting at this computer right now? Like it
Hmm.
just doesn't
Right.
make any sense.
No. I mean, it goes back to literally like car salesman. Whenever I first got back into Brazil, I'm like, I don't want to go to a car salesman. They're going to
Mhm.
talk to me for hours. I'm going to get sucked into it because I will literally naturally talk for hours. You still won't sell me a car, but I'll talk to you
You'll
for
still be
hours
talking.
about anything, anything. But then at the end of it, as I'm in the conversation with the sales dude and blah, 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 I'm like, just sell me a car at a good price. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so sick of this. Like,
Yeah.
I also can't deal with the BS
Yeah.
conversations too.
See, and I
So like
actually
if I'm
love
in it,
it
I'm like,
because I love being like, you're not gonna BS me.
I can't say. I'm just like, okay, we'll talk later, and then I just block all the phone numbers, and I'm just like,
Oh my
whatever. And then,
gosh.
oh, it's hard. It's hard for me to say no. It's hard for me to put my foot down.
Yeah.
I definitely need to get better about it just because it's my job. It's my livelihood, especially like my dad wants to step back. A lot of the times I've been able to just be like, well, Bart said it, so it has to be. But now
Right?
they don't see him. They're not talking to him. It's just me. And I'm just like, I want it this way. And to even be going back to like boundaries and feeling worthy enough of having boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
telling yourself that I can say this and it's okay because it's correct. Like just like the sound panels that we installed, they're beautiful. It took 3 months to get them. They're from Switzerland. Very expensive babies. The cloth on them as the installers were installing them, they have a little smudge mark on them. We tried to clean it as best as possible, but we didn't know what would work with the fabric.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just like, okay. So the the main girl that I've been talking with, thank God it's been a girl, but the main girl that I've been talking with, she came and looked at it, and I'm like, look, there's some dirt on some of these panels, and we don't know how to clean them off, and blah blah blah. And she was like, oh, we're gonna get that fixed right away. Like, no problem about it, easy peasy, was perfect. But I hesitated on saying it when the installers were there because I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh no. What are they gonna, I'm making them do something extra. What are they going to say or do? And I literally get nervous that I don't want to ruffle any feathers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a big thing of women. Women are taught not to ruffle any feathers, not to be
Right.
loud, not to outspeak or anything like that. And it's such bullshit because like literally the panels are dirty. They need to
Mm-hmm.
get cleaned. That's my job. That's my, not even that, it's my name on the line after
Mm-hmm.
that. Like that's client and me's relationship going downhill because they can't trust me to say something that needs to get done and be proactive about it because I'm scared.
Yeah.
No way. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing with boundary. It's just a huge thing with finding yourself and finding like
Well, and like,
standing
it's
up for
so if
yourself.
someone gets mad at you, like, why, why do we allow that to affect us? Why does that matter if someone's
Right.
mad at us, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Or
And
like thinking, oh my gosh, they're not gonna like me and blah blah blah.
yeah, sometimes you kind of just fake it until you make it, right, Kristen? And then you
Yeah.
do start to believe it. Because then when people respond the way they would if you're acting calm, you're like, oh, well, this is how they would respond if I'm just so like I am not doing anything wrong by acting this way, And so yeah, that's a good point, Kristen, for sure. Like, I
A
love
big
that.
thing is if it's anxiety, anxiety is questioning you.
Mm-hmm.
If you start questioning yourself in your head, oh, I shouldn't do this because I don't want to do that, blah blah blah. That's just anxiety. That's shame. That's stuff that you need to, those are questions and voices that were taught to you when you were younger because that's what society was.
Yeah.
Men wanted to put the women's voices down,
Mm-hmm.
children were seen and not heard, all those things. It made us believe that we weren't worth speaking about anything, even if it was correct. And it's really difficult. Even, I mean, I'm younger and I'm still just, like doing this and being like, oh, I hope they don't hate me. But at the same time, like, I'm just trying to do my job. Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with doing my job and doing it very well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes,
Exactly.
it works with everything.
And it
Yeah.
just makes me think too, like, because that's what I was talking about. A friend of mine, he's a life coach, and we've had a couple of sessions, and it's like, well, why do you need that validation? Why do you need someone to not be mad at you? And it's like, you're already whole on your own. And so just like reminding myself, like, that I am whole. Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
need anybody to validate me. Like, it's already there. So it seems like such a simple thing, but that was kind of like a mind shift to me too. And I think, like you said, feeling like you're not enough, not deserving, some of that is like not deserving of love. I think a lot of us internalize that. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, no, you already are love. Like, just as a
Yeah.
being, like, you are love. So when you're like seeking that outside of yourself, it's like you have to remind yourself, like, it's here, right? And
Yes.
that's been helpful for me too. So I don't know if that
And like
helps anybody else.
literally, it's so crazy that you said that because I was talking to one of my subs about the our girl group, our muscle mommy girl group.
Hmm.
And he's like, why are you seeking validation? And this was a really good conversation. It was not
Okay.
just you're seeking
Yeah,
validation.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
it
He
was
wanted
like
to
he's
understand.
like I didn't, he's like I don't want to hurt your feelings, but like are you seeking validation? I'm like, no, not at all actually. Like if I feel bad when I don't post because I know that I don't have, like you said in the beginning, like I'm not putting my best self out first. If
Mm-hmm.
I'm When I stop posting, it's because I don't have enough to spill out onto social media. You know
Sure.
what I mean? I keep it for myself, I keep it for my family. Something else is going on. Not bad, nothing wrong. It's just the fact that my cup needs to go, like the water that's in my cup needs to go other places first. And
Mm-hmm.
social media is the overflow of it. It's
Mm-hmm.
just brain dumping all over, or water dumping, whatever. And I think that that's huge in the whole validation part because when I stop posting, people are like, where are you at? Where are you going? Blah, blah, blah. What are you doing? What's wrong? And don't get me wrong, I think that there's been something wrong with me too, but it's not. You know what I mean? There's nothing
Mm-hmm.
wrong. It's just the fact that I'm not filled, like my cup isn't filled up enough for me to or explode onto other people here on the internet, you know, type thing. And I
Yeah.
don't think that that's a bad thing. You know,
No.
it's you need to listen to your body. You need to listen to what you need. And that's again not being selfish, but it's, am I going to kill myself to post something when I don't feel like it's even my best self or my best kind of motivation or anything? Because I've gone through my content before when I did post just to throw something out there, just to post it, and 9 times out of 10 I end up deleting it because it doesn't make any sense. It's
Yeah.
out of the left field, you know, it's something random, you know,
Uh-huh.
whatever, something I didn't want to post anyway, you know, those kind of things. So it's just kind of like, I mean, I find myself a lot of times too getting so anxious, like walking into the gym or whatever, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, no, I don't want to. I don't know why I get anxious about it. I get weird about it. But
Uh-huh.
then when I'm there, I'm like, nobody's looking at me. Nobody cares about me. I need to focus on myself. Think about the reps. Think about how many sets you're doing. Da da da. You know, those kind of things. And it's hard because you're just, it's so weird. It's so weird, the mind that your mind shifts, and it's beautiful, but it's hard whenever you're in the middle of it. Because even the last few days, like I definitely do a lot of things around my cycle, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell like the week before my period starts, I'm super low, not mad or angry, but just like very direct. I don't have time to be bubbly and oh my God, la la la, you know, whatever. I'm just, let's go, let's do this, let's get it done, because I'm over it. You know what I mean? And then the day I start my period, my anxiety is so high, I can't calm down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing everything 5,000 miles per hour, and I literally can't calm down. And I'll tell myself, calm down, you're fine, everything's fine. It's just this. I mean, hormones, whatever it might be, I have no idea
Yeah.
because I don't know. But it's just all of that wrapped into one. And then also knowing how your body acts and reacts to different situations and how to treat it. Like, I remember when in those moments, whenever that happens, I'll go on the grass and I'll literally sit on the
Mm-hmm.
grass, or I'll
Mm-hmm.
sit somewhere and just sit and stay and breathe for 2 minutes. Set a 2 minute timer, because those 2 minutes, in those times, I feel like you're like, oh my gosh, everything's happening so fast. I got to do this, do this, do this, blah, 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 blah. And you're not, my time management goes straight out the door, and I don't know where time is anymore. So whenever I start to count, whenever I start realizing that 2 minutes is actually a really long time and I can do a lot in that time, it makes me take another breath. Like, it's just the little tiny tricks that you've got to do with your brain, you know?
Yeah, that's a couple of good things there actually. So like the grounding is really good like for mental health and anxiety. So just like touching grass, right? And then two,
Yeah.
the practice of like sitting and doing nothing. I follow a coach and she did a practice where like she just set a timer and had to like do nothing for 10 minutes out of the day. And I think too, like part of her practice was like if her brain started going over the things she needed to get done, like she was like trying to clear that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think yeah, like we're so stimulated all the time that having like a boring practice or a do nothing practice is probably really good for our mental health. And then, yeah, the grounding as well. And then I would say the other thing you could probably try, especially like since it's like related to your period, is that I've probably already told you this, but the lemon balm tea, like it's so
Yeah.
good for anxiety. Yeah. Like during that
I need
time,
to
if
do
you know
that.
that always happens, just like have that
Yeah.
tea. It's so helpful. It was so wild to me how well it worked when I was like having my anxiety attacks. In fact, when the last time I was really having bad anxiety attacks was like when I was going through my separation and divorce, but I was also still working like a 9 to 5 job at that time. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
now I'm like I don't know what to relate like my anxiety to, because I would like thought about, well, I did like part-time for a while at my old job and I was like, oh no, is my anxiety gonna come back? Was it from the job or was it from the divorce? But it was from, well, the divorce and all of that. So I've had very little like actual panic attack since my divorce. And I think that's such a like another big conversation too, just around nervous system and anxiety, because a lot of times, especially as women, like we think like this is like my fault, or I'm the reason I'm causing this anxiety, or I want too much or whatever. And again, it's learning how to like check in with yourself
Mm-hmm.
so that you're not like gaslighting yourself,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
really understanding like what is it that you really need. Because I stayed in a marriage for way too long because I
Mm-hmm.
was like, well, people say things like, well, the grass is not greener on the other side, and like I don't even know, just like and just like need to be more selfless, and just all of those things. And like,
Everything that felt wrong.
yeah, but
Yeah.
like I knew in my gut that like a divorce is what was needed. And
Yeah.
here we are on the other side, and I was completely right. And I'm not saying that's the answer for everybody, like some
Right.
people do just need to like work on their
Mm-hmm.
marriage or whatever. But, trusting ourselves, like you're saying, taking those moments for ourselves, checking in with ourselves. So what are those practices we can do to really like come to ourselves and trust ourselves and our intuition, and how we can move through those situations where we feel like that. So I don't know, like I said, I think grounding is a good one. I think just like being bored, or like almost like a meditation. I know a lot of people struggle with
Yeah.
meditation, or if that's prayer for you,
Mm-hmm.
those things that like really allow you to sit within yourself and take care of like what you need. And a big part of that is going to be not giving into everything else around you, the person, the task that needs to be done, but just like focusing on what you need. And I think for women, that's just, it's so difficult. It can feel like it's not first nature, but I think it is there if we tap into it.
There's this practice that this is what I used to do. I don't know where I found it, but it's meditation. But when you're meditating, you think of yourself as sitting on a park bench,
Hmm.
and it's a different thing, because a lot of meditation will be like, just block out your mind, like don't think about the things and blah blah blah. Well,
Right.
that's freaking hard to do, right?
Yes.
So a different way to do it is, I'm sitting on a park bench, and literally seeing the words like traffic in front of me, but I'm sitting.
Okay.
And I continue to just sit there. And if you feel yourself start to grab at one of the many things that's groceries, whatever is in front of you, and one of the many things that just, oh, I wonder about this, and you start to trickle up, and sit yourself back down and just literally watch it. Watch your brain unfold in front of you. And you do that for like 5 minutes. That will clear your brain like, no, I haven't done it in a very long time. Clearly,
Yeah.
that's insane. But that's huge for me.
Okay.
Another one is when I sit, okay, I find very specific spots for me to sit. Like every house, every office, every place that I am in has a space where I sit, and it's very comfortable to me. So in Brazil, it was our in our apartment, it was our kitchen. We had a really narrow, just a straight line of a kitchen. Everything was on the wall, and I would sit right on the other wall. And that was, I don't know why, but I'm very in tune with energy and frequencies and stuff. When I sit there, I feel at peace, I feel calm, I feel grounded. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why. It
Mm-hmm.
just, it wasn't out in nature. I could have went to the balcony. I could have literally gone anywhere else,
Mm-hmm.
but that safe spot was there. Now, here in this house, my safe spot is our bathroom, and I'll
Mm.
go to our bathroom and I'll sit there in the bathroom. Um, I've had places like at my parents' office, it would be, I think they were more like little places, but I was also younger when I was there, but I would go under a desk. something where it was more like of almost like a controlled environment, and it would
Yeah.
make me just sit there.
And well, like all
um
those women that go into their closet, I guess that's that similar.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't be me hiding that. I
Right.
feel like that's one of the other things too, is like when I would sit in the kitchen to just sit and just literally just sit, it felt so good. I don't know how to explain it, but it just felt good to sit on the floor, on the ground, in the kitchen. Weird. Way better than it would to sit on the couch or anything like that.
Mm.
But it would it. I have these specific, and even when I pray, there's specific spots in the house where I look up at. Like,
Mm.
it's usually next to a light or next to a door frame. I don't know why. I really do not know why, but I find these little spots, and that's what I pray to. That's where I
Mm.
sit out. Like, it's just what feels good. And I mean, it could be all mumbo jumbo. It could be nothing of energy. It could be not anything at all. But if it feels good to you,
Yeah.
regardless of what is real and not, if it
Mhm.
feels good to you, if it helps ground you and put you in a state of relaxation, tranquility, peace,
Mhm.
that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Like, who
There you-
cares? My husband has seen
Yeah.
me sit at weird weird places. He's like, okay, new spot. I'm like, yep, man. Like, and he gets it now. Whenever
Mhm.
before he was like, why are you sitting like that? And I'm like, I don't know. It feels good. And I would
Yeah.
just sit there. And then he started, because a lot with me giving to him, he started seeing my energy and how I would need to, regain that strength back again after a full day or an argument or whatever. You need
Mm.
to recollect yourself and you need to come back to center. you know um but yeah, anyways, sorry.
No, you don't have to be sorry. No, I think that, I mean, that probably makes people, like, it makes me think about, like, where do I do that in this house? I don't do that in this house. I did that um in an apartment by myself. But my really like grounding, peaceful thing is like just getting up early to have time to like, and I've
Yeah.
said this before, like sit on the couch with my coffee and just like
Hmm.
really be grateful for what
Yeah.
I have, and that peace, like sitting in that peace and like being present and grateful. And so I think, yeah, whatever makes you do that or reground yourself, like whatever works, I think that's cool. So, and
Yeah.
two, the other thing, sometimes when we get things just like built up in our head, it's like, I have really great friends. I can say those things out loud to, and then I'm like, yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's crazy. If you
Hmm.
don't have those people, it's like you can journal it, because then you're
Yeah.
putting, again, sometimes when you say things out loud or on paper, you're like, oh, okay, this crazy thought that I've been having really is just crazy. And then you can kind of like
It makes
laugh
sense.
about it and maybe
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah. I
So,
remember my husband's sister. She was like, I'm waking up early, and this is when I would wake up at 3, 4 a.m. It was just easy. It was normal. I would wake up, journal, maybe go back to sleep, but I would have that morning to just kind of like, and this is of course in Brazil, didn't have a kid yet.
mhm.
But I would go back to sleep. I would go on a run. I would go play with the dogs. Like, it was very free. And and I'm trying to bring that back here finally too.
Mhm.
I've finally started to implement a lot of that back home, which I'm very excited about. But my sister-in-law, she was talking to me, and she's like, I just can't talk to her husband and blah 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 and la la la. And I'm like, start talking to yourself. I know that sounds crazy. It sounds insane. But if you start journaling, you start getting out a lot of the stuff that's in your head, and you go, oh, that's stupid. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, this actually makes sense because it ties back to something else that's actually real.
Right.
Whenever you put it out on paper, something happens with yourself, with the universe. I don't know what it is, but when you put it out on paper and you make it concrete, you can actually look at those words and be like, oh, yeah, that's where I messed up, or that's how I got here. Or it puts it in a different perspective for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
that's
Hmm.
cool. Well, I think we're, right here at an hour, so I definitely
I
want to
know.
let you go. But I think I love how like the boundary and the mindset thing really goes hand in hand. So I would
Yeah.
love to come back next week. I think I have a couple of things I want to say about boundaries, but I should have probably got my thoughts together before tonight so that I could express them. So I'm gonna hopefully do a little bit of homework and bring that. So like if you can think of like one thing around boundaries next week you want to share, we'll start there again and just see where it
Yeah.
takes us. So
Yeah, I love that. Love that idea. Thank you everybody for joining
yes,
us and
thank
hanging
you
out. This was
guys.
awesome. See you
Appreciate
guys
y'all.
next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.